Hello guys, welcome to Hankins Custom Rifles, Hank's Precision Gun Parts, and another episode of Hank's TV. We're going to do something a little different on this video. It's Friday night again, and I promised you guys a video every Friday night if possible. Now don't hold me to that forever, because there'll be some Fridays that I just can't do it. But this Friday night we're going to try something new. I've never done this on a video before, so we're just going to try it, see how it works out. I'm sure there's things I'll need to do to improve the processes for videoing and what have you. So I'm going to rely on your all's feedback to tell me what I need to do to make it better. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to build a rifle. I've got all the components that I need to build this rifle laying on this workbench. Everything we need is here. I'm going to go over it. It's not going to be a step-by-step how-to kind of video. It's just going to be a video of building the rifle, putting it together, and getting it done in one piece, putting all these components into one to make a rifle. So we'll start out with the stock. I'll tell you what I'm going to use here. This is a McMillan. This is their mountain rifle stock. It's super lightweight. This thing don't weigh anything hardly. It's carbon fiber, and it has their banded marsh molded in color on it. It's green and carbon fiber. So we got two colors of green here and some carbon fiber. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but I seen it on the website and I thought it looked pretty cool, so I ordered one to build this 223 rifle with. Okay, we're going to build it using this Defiance Classic Action. This is their Classic. It's almost an identical copy of a Remington 700. It's got a bottom metal. We're going to feed this thing with a magazine, so it's cut out on the bottom. It's not a single shot. It's got a 20 MOA Picatinny rail on it, I believe, stainless steel rail. It's got a stainless bolt knob. Then you've got your standard bolt from Defiance. That's a 4140 chrome moly bolt. So they will rust, fellas, just to let you know. Keep this bolt body oiled up and slick, because this part of it will rust. The knob and the bolt shroud is stainless steel, so it won't rust, but the rest of it will. So keep that in mind. Keep a little oil on it. I've already felt it, looked at it. Everything looks good here. We have a magazine box from Wyatt's Outdoors. Okay, we've got a standard BDL hinge floor plate Remington takeoff, and I did not have a spring for a 223. I did not have a follower, so I ordered the follower from Wyatt's when I ordered the box, and they didn't have any springs. Their springs are back ordered. Don't know when they're going to get springs for 223. So really the only difference in the spring for a 223 and the spring for a 308 or 22-250 or whatever is it's a little shorter on the top and it's a little shorter on the bottom. So you can make it from a standard spring. You just have to cut it off at both places, slide it all the way forward, and make sure that it stays slid forward, because if it slides back, your shells will not feed. So once I get this all done, I will epoxy this spring in place so that it'll never move. And I'm 100% confident that this is going to work out just fine for me. And that'll go like this. All that goes into the stock. We've got our action bolts here on the table. We have our recoil lug that come from Defiance with the Classic Action. And it's kind of nice that they're putting the numbers on the bottom. This one's 253 thousandths thick. So their recoil lugs may fluctuate a little bit. Sometimes they're 250, 253, whatever it is, but at least they're telling us it's right here on the bottom. Then the barrel here is a Brooks barrel. This is our number 3 contour. We're going to finish this at about 24 inches. It's got straight flutes in it, and it is a 1 in 9 twist. Now I want to set this rifle up to shoot a 69 grain Sierra Match King. That's what this is right here. It's a dummy round I loaded. I just did a dummy round. There's no gunpowder, no primer in it. I put this together just a few minutes ago so we'd have something to test for the chamber. Then we have our reamer here. This is a Pacific Tool and Gauge reamer, 223 match finisher with a 252 neck. Now the neck on the factory cartridge here measures 249, so that gives us 1.5 thou clearance all the way around the neck. When this is done, it's got 40 thousandths free bore, and it's got a 1 degree 30 lead. Now I don't think a 40 thousandths free bore is going to be enough for the 69 grain bullet where I have it seated. And if it's not enough, then we're going to go up into the chamber with this throating reamer, and we're going to throat it out just until I can close this cartridge up in the chamber without it hitting the lands. I want it to just be on the lands, because I did push the bullet back in the cartridge a little bit far, and if need to, I've got room to seat it out farther, but I don't want to push it in anymore. So there we go with our parts, and we're going to be using a Bald Eagle chamber reamer holder to hold the reamer and the throater. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to put the action into stock to make sure that everything fits. So let's put this together. Open this. That will allow us to put that together much easier. That's going to go here. No, my bad. This is going to go here. We're going to put this in here. We're going to put the bottom metal on. We're going to put the screws in. So we're going to put the front screw in. And these are screws right off of my shelf that I sell to you guys out there for building guns. They're a 1/4 28 screw, Allen head. And I'm going to screw those in there until they're just snug. And I want to look at how much we've got sticking out. So you can see that right there, fellas. We've got a little bit of screw sticking out right here. That's about 3 threads. I'm going to cut that off and polish it, and we can look in the action and we can see that screw in here. You guys probably can't see it, but it's in there, and it's sticking up about 5 threads. So I'm going to cut those off, polish them. We're going to put it back together and make sure that we can slide our bolt through here. Right now we can't get it through because this screw is sticking up too far and this screw is too far. So I'm going to do the back screw first. I'm only going to do them one at a time, so that we don't have to keep taking it completely apart. The one screw will hold it. So we're going to go cut this off with a hacksaw. I'm going to bring it to length on a grinder. We're going to polish it, and I'm going to put it back in there. When I get that done, I'll be right back. Alright, we've ground the screw down, and we're going to test it for a fit and see where we're at. Now I like to grind all these screws. I always start out with a screw that's too long and grind it to where it's got as much contact in the action as possible. So you want full threads basically. And this one looks like it's full thread, maybe just proud a little bit, but that's going to be okay, I think, as long as it clears the cocking piece. And when I was mentioning tools earlier in the video, I forgot to mention the most important tool that I need to build a rifle. And that's these things right here. If you can't see it, you can't do a good job. And I wear these all the time, and I'm constantly looking through them so that I can really see what we've got here and what we're working with. So looking at that screw, that looks perfect to me. We'll check it, make sure that that'll slide in. You want to make sure that your cocking piece will slide over top of that screw. And it looks like we got 30 or 40 thousandths clearance on that screw. Now bolt won't go all the way in because it's hitting this front screw here. So we're going to take that out now, and we'll go grind it down, cut it off, and bring it to right length. I like to do this now before I put the barrel on. That way I can look right in there and I can see it. If I wait until I put the barreled action all together and I'm trying to put the screws in last to see if everything fits, you got to look through here and you're trying to shine a flashlight to see if you got full threads. This way, I know I got full threads with that bolt. So let's go cut this bolt down. Okay, so we're just going to put this bolt in this vise right here. We're going to hold on to it with about 3 threads because I know I need to cut off 5. So I'm going to hold it with 3. I'm going to cut it at about the 4th one. I'll bring the rest of it to length with the grinder. Now I have literally cut hundreds of bolts in this vise with a hacksaw. And it's not very hard to do. You got a good blade. You can feel it and hear it when you're almost done. So then I'll take one hand on the saw and hold the other, use the other hand to hold the bolt, break it off, and now our bolt has been trimmed. Open the vise up, I'll let that little piece of bolt fall out. Now we'll go over to the grinder and grind it a little bit. Okay, I know I keep calling this thing a grinder. It's really a belt sander, but it's just a term I like to use. I just call it the grinder, but it is not a grinder with a stone wheel on it. It's a belt sander. So we're going to turn it on. It's probably going to get loud, so you guys might want to go ahead and plug your ears real quick. Okay, so when I grind this screw, I try to keep it flat, and then once I'm done, I'll put it on just a little bit of an angle, and I'll just kind of chamfer the edges. I've got a little pan of water over here to put them in when they get hot. Now we're going to go over, hit this on the buffer, and polish it up. We'll check it for fit. Okay guys, here we are at the buffing wheel. This is a homemade buffer that I made 25 years ago probably. This is a big Scotch-Brite wheel that I use on all kinds of stuff that comes in handy a lot. So here we go with the polish. We're going to turn it as we polish it, and we want to turn it on the edge again and polish the edge. You want to make sure that there's no grind marks left in this screw, because if you've got any roughness, I should say, I'll call it roughness, if you've got any grind marks left on the screw, when you screw it in the action, it can gull it up and get it stuck or booger the threads, and then there you are with a brand new gun with a stuck screw in it trying to get it out. And if you build enough of these, you'll know what I'm talking about. If it's not happened to you, it will eventually. And then once you learn what you did wrong, don't do it again. It'll never happen. So this never happens to me anymore. I can't say that it never happened before because I'm telling you about it. But just pay attention, polish these things down really nice. If you don't have a buffer like this and all you have is a hacksaw, get a Dremel tool and put a little fine disc sandpaper or something on there and just polish this down, or worst come to worst, get a piece of sandpaper and just twist it and twist it and twist it back and forth in your hands until it's polished up. Let's go try this for a fit, see if it's short enough. If it's not, we'll just go grind it a little bit more, come back over here, buff it again, and check it again. Okay, so we're back with the screw and we're going to try it in the action. From the looks of it, it looks like it's going to be pretty close because I can tell how much is sticking out, that we're almost there. Now we're going to look inside to see how much we got, and we've got too much. You guys ain't going to be able to see it, but we've got still about a thread. So I'm going to go over there, repeat this process, and try it again till we know we can put this bolt in and the bolt will close. Okay, so we trimmed the screw now twice. Let's see how it's going to fit this time. Like I said, we want to make sure we've got as much screw in there as possible. And we're still a little proud. I don't believe the bolt will close. Matter of fact, I know it won't. Actually, it does. I'll be darned. We got a little extra room in there more than I thought. So that closes, so we're going to leave it right there where we're at. So we now have the 2 screws trimmed. The action fits. We know everything fits here. The bottom metal goes in nice, functions. And now we'll have to do is figure out where we're going to cut the barrel for the recoil lug to everything to line up right. We're going to mark the flutes and we'll get the barrel in the machine.